every choice you make, there are countless other realities where you make different choices. Imagine the power to move one person from one reality to the next.
You can do that?
Just say the word.
You tell me! Where did everybody go?
When are you finally going to wake up and realize he doesn't take care of his own? What do you know about me?
You're a fiend, a crook, a liar. Your goal? Misery.
Hey everybody, and welcome to tonight's very special Shift live stream. I'm Brock Heasley. I'm the writer and director of The Shift. This is my wife, Erin.
We shifted Justen out and me in.
We shifted you in, yes.
Yes.
We shifted Justen Overlander, my and usual co-host, and he is off on a film set actually today. And so we are doing this together. Our first time actually like co-hosting. Like you've guessed it, but you've never.
That's true.
You've never just been my full co-host.
Who knows what could happen tonight.
Really, really scared right now. This is a really special time for The Shift. We are just 9 days away from closing our current round of crowdfunding, which is the last day is going to be October 19th. So this is a really, really special time.
Hey, you just announced the end of the live stream.
I did, because I checked with my legal, and it turned out I can say that.
Nice.
Which seems like a no duh. It's very important information.
9 days.
So 9 days, October 19th is the last day. And check this out. Look at where we are right now. If we can put that graphic up on the screen real fast. This is what our current investment total is. We are at $993,291.
So we need $6,308?
Nope.
No.
But that's close.
That's not right.
We'll just move on from that math.
6,006. Anyway,
so
it's up more. Yay!
Oh, hey, it went up again. So we are really, really close to hitting $1 million tonight. And in fact, I'm saying that's our goal. That's our goal for while we are live right now.
Brock committed to dancing on screen if we hit $1 million.
A very specific kind of dancing.
I just want to put that out there to you good people who might be on the fence.
But I think that's a solid goal for tonight. If we can hit $1 million while we are live, I don't think that's crazy.
No,
it's
we'll do somewhere around the range of $6,000,
right?
Give or take some money,
right? So, if you would like to invest in The Shift, and needless to say, after 9 days, I highly, highly cannot legally say we'll never do it again. But I highly you can't. No, you can't either. You're associated. But I highly, highly doubt it. Let's put it that way. And as we like to say every time. After we've done 3 of these crowdfunding rounds before, and every time I get 1 million messages afterwards. Oh my gosh, I missed it. The other thing I hear from is people who say, wow, I really wish I had invested during The Chosen when they were taking investments. And of course, that opportunity is long gone.
It's also so sad when you get those emails like 3 days later. Can I still invest? No,
you can't. Where were you? We told everybody. We did countdowns.
Yeah.
So I cannot legally say that it's totally over and gone 9 days from now, but take that for what you will. This is all ending very soon, and so we hope that if this is something that you believe in, if you believe in this, you're going to believe in this film a little bit more.
If you just want to see Brock dance,
or if you just want to see me dance. A little bit, invest tonight. Angel.com/The Shift. That's where you can make it happen. Hit the back this project button. It only takes a few minutes. And if you have any questions or any problems, let us know, and we'll hook you up with the right people who can help you out. Tonight is very exciting and a little bit different than what we usually do. When you put something new out into the world, like The Shift is, something that's new, that's different, that pushes a little buttons, that pushes some boundaries like this film does. I mean, it's a sci-fi film, but it also has a faith element. People are either not going to completely understand what you're doing at first, Although most people are very excited, I think it's fair to say. I mean, the $1 million we're approaching just testifies to that. And we've also, in previous rounds, we've seen $1.7 million in investment. So we're really just adding on to what we've already raised. We do have people who have questions, who have objections, who have critiques,
who have hilarious things to say.
In some cases, some very funny things to say. And so what we've done is we've collected many of them. Some of them are great. Some of them are very representative of the kinds of comments that we get continually. And what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to address those. And look, this isn't about, tearing down people who have said mean things. That's not what we're about. This also isn't about airing defensive grievances.
Right.
This is about, here's an opportunity for discussion.
Well, and you have to know that in our house, usually we'll sit around the dinner table and enjoy these together because they're oftentimes some of the most creative and quippy responses we get.
Yes.
And they're really funny. And so we enjoy them.
So we enjoy them. Maybe that's masochistic, but we enjoy them. So I think tonight is going to be a lot of fun for that reason, because I do think there's good discussion to have. A lot of times it's sincere people bringing up what they see are issues or just something that they're just questioning. And there's no reason to get upset about that. I think criticism is really valuable. It can make you reassess what you're doing. The worst thing you can do is just barrel forward thinking everybody's right and I'm wrong. Well, guess what? If you think that, you're the one who's wrong.
Opposite.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, opposite.
Everybody's wrong and I'm right.
Thank you. Yes, what she said. All right. And the other thing that's going to happen tonight is that we're going to hear from some of our actual investors. I mean, we're going to hear from primarily the naysayers tonight, but we also have a special video. We reached out to our investors and we asked them if they would submit just a brief testimonial about why they chose to invest in the shift. That was the only question we gave them, and we got some responses. And we've got a really fun video to show you a little bit later tonight. And
I'm going to give away stuff.
Okay, what are you going to give away?
Well, I'm not saying the word you have on the screen, but I'm going to give away merchandise.
She can't say the word merch. It's against
I hate it.
Ethics, I think.
No, gross. I'm going to give away shift merchandise. Me, I'm in charge. So anyone and everyone that asks the question is automatically entered to win, and then we'll select you and read you off at the end.
That's right. So submit those questions, and if you've got some additional critiques you want to pile on tonight, bring it. We'll address as many as we can.
I'm excited too that folks can just ask questions like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring it on.
Yeah, and at the end we will definitely talk about those. So submit those questions. You're automatically entered. At the end we'll choose a winner. And also at the end of this live stream, something else that you're going to want to stick around for is we're going to preview next week's live stream. And there's some really exciting stuff happening in next week's live stream, because next week's live stream is happening the night before this offering ends. And anytime an offering ends,
it gets exciting.
It gets exciting and we go big. And we're definitely going big for next week. So you're going to want to stick around and find out exactly what we're up to. Honestly, a week from now, already all this week, and I have a lot more prep to do to pull it off for next week. So it's big. It's a big one. All right. Are you ready to dig into it?
I am. I want to read them.
Okay, let's do this. So Erin's going to read the comments. And I'm going to go ahead and, I'll respond, and then we'll see what you think as well.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Number 1.
Hit me. Oh, now I'm going to have to lean in like, they're going.
I'll make the screen bigger for you.
They're going so fast.
Oh, hey, Garrett, can we get one at a time? I don't think that was there we go. That's the first one.
Okay. I'm already enjoying it because I'm seeing 2. The Shift film. I don't agree that this is like Narnia or Lord of the Rings. Those were clearly fantasy worlds meant to be fictional allegories of the true nonfiction world. This short mixes the true world with a false notion of parallel multiverses that many unwary people actually buy into. That is different from Lewis and potentially dangerous. I'm not sure, anyway, I would respectfully advise considering giving your Satan character a different tactic. Yes, Brock, please change the entire construct of the whole film.
Oh, done. Done. No. So this is one we get a lot, and it's based on something that we've said before and something that we also say in our ads, which is that, using genre, and by genre, of course, we're talking about different types of stories that can be told. A science fiction story is one type of story. A fantasy story like Lord of the Rings or Narnia is another type of story. It's another genre type. And you're familiar, we're all familiar with fantasy because of Narnia and Lord of the Rings, but science fiction and faith is not something that's really mixed before, at least not, it has happened. And in fact, C.S. Lewis did it, but it's not very common and it's not something most people are aware of. So the thing here about how they were clearly fantasy worlds meant to be fictional allegories of the true nonfiction world. There's a couple of things there. I think that's really the key phrase here, is that are we necessarily doing something that's so different from what Lewis and Tolkien did that it actually invalidates what we're doing? I think that's the question here.
Well, yeah, I don't think, does it, who says they have to be the same?
Well, that's the first point I would make, is that since we only have two examples that we can readily point to of people who have mixed, obviously fictional storytelling with faith, it's hard to say that those are the only ways to do it. The other thing I would say is that both of them actually rooted their stories within the real world. Tolkien saw the Lord of the Rings saga as actually a prehistory to Earth. That's how he envisioned it. It wasn't meant to be some other planet or some other reality. And
that's some next level geek knowledge there.
It's really not. It's very basic. And then as far as Lewis goes, actually those books, each one of them starts out in the real world.
That's true. And then they go in the wardrobe.
Then they go in the wardrobe and they go to,
and they get shifted
to an alternate reality. So I don't feel like we're necessarily in strange territory here.
No.
And actually, oh wait, can we get that? Yeah, get that comment back up. Sorry, I'm trying to reference it. And so, I think the allegories that we're employing and the metaphors that we're employing, I think we're being very clear about that. And perhaps it will be even more clear in the feature film, because in the feature film, you're going to get a good look at the device that our Satan character, we call him the benefactor in the feature film, you're going to get a look at the device that he uses. It's going to be very obviously technology that he's employing, not some supernatural power.
Right.
So I feel like we're on really safe ground here as far as people understanding that, hey, we're using multiverse and which is a sci-fi trope, a sci-fi concept. Whether you believe in it or not, it's a very established.
I think this person who was so lovely, I think a woman wrote this. I'm just going to say that. Only a woman would say, I respectfully advise changing your whole movie. But I think they're a little confused too, because you're using sci-fi and they're citing fantasy. And those are different.
They're different, but they're related.
But they come at the world differently.
They come at the world differently.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and look, people are going to disagree, and that's fine. But I'm satisfied that we're on pretty safe ground here as far as people understanding, hey, this is not a literal depiction of the way the Bible or the scriptures represents the way things work. This is obviously speculative fiction in the best sense.
Right.
So,
but I respectly advise. That's so lovely.
But very, very polite.
What a lovely way to disagree with you.
They're not all going to be this polite.
I hope
just so
not.
We know. Just so everybody's
forewarned.
What's the next one? Let's see it.
Okay, I really enjoyed this film, but I'm not sure I buy into the idea of infinite me's and worlds. Plus, how could Satan shift someone against their will?
All right. So this is a great one. We're back here to the idea of multiverse. A lot of people believe that the scriptures...
You have really upset the people with the multiverse.
No. There are people who definitively believe that the multiverse is impossible based on the Bible. And that's fine if they believe that. I take a more agnostic view on that. I'm not an agnostic. But
I was going to say, whoa.
But on this subject...
You heard it here first.
On this subject, I'm like, I don't care if it's real or not. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect my faith. The tenets of my faith go to my Savior and the basics of that. That's what I'm more concerned about.
And this is what I think I like to call the chosen phenomenon, because the chosen so beautifully and artfully does real scripture. And so I think folks sometimes transitioning away from the chosen get that construct stuck in their minds that every is going to be exact scripture, or that we think it's exact scripture. And that's not what's happening. So
setting aside the question of the multiverse for a minute, because I believe it's a common sci-fi trope. I don't feel like we're on dangerous ground there. We're using a fictional concept. And whether you believe it's real or fictional doesn't really matter in the context of the film that we're making. The what's interesting to me about this one is the second part, which is an objection that I have heard from more than one person, or at least a question. How could Satan shift someone against their will? Other variations of this objection are things like, oh, you're giving Satan too much power, and you're letting him do things that he can't do. And Satan, or the benefactor in the shift, he really has very limited power. I would say he's even more limited than the scriptural version of the character or the person. He can do one thing, which is move people between realities, and even then, he can only do it with the use of a device.
He doesn't have the power.
So in that sense, he's very, very limited in his power. And as far as something against their will, that's when we get into the metaphor here. That's when we get into what the shift is about. There are many things that happen in your life that are against your will. There are many evils that are committed against each one of us that are against our will. And without getting into it too deeply, because I really unpacked this last week in our Heart of the Shift live stream, but I have had in my family and in my life great evil done to me that was against my will. And speaking specifically of the death of my father, which happened through guns, through somebody holding a gun and shooting him. That wasn't God's will. That was an evil that happened that we didn't choose. So this idea that Satan can't do things against our will, I believe there are certain things he can't do against our will, as far as our allegiance to him. That's something that has to be given. He can't take it from us. He can't, we have to make the choice to follow him. But evil is perpetrated against all of us constantly. Ken Beale says, Satan shifted Job's world against his will.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Job didn't choose what happened to him. And that's why the shift is so much inspired by the book of Job, because the book of Job teaches us that things can happen against our will. And that's just part of the dominion that Satan has in this world.
Really, our agency, our will is based on his.
Right.
Other people's choices.
Right. So it's so much more about how we react to things and so much less about what happens to us. So shifting is about things happening against our will. That's what the movie's about. And it's not about making that not happen. It's about how do you deal with that. Bad thing has happened. What do I do? This
person and the 11 people that like this comment might not enjoy the movie.
They might not. But you know what? I think it also might surprise them.
I agree.
Because ultimately the movie is the story of a man's journey, just like any story is, but it's meant to be something. We're meant to see something of ourselves in Kevin and something of our own life's journey. We all come up against things that we would rather not happen, but they do. And how do you do that? How do you move on from that? That's what the shift is. So that's what shifting is about. Shifting happens against your will because many things do.
Just like how Justen.
Right. And I wanted him here, and instead I'm stuck with her. And that's just something that we all have to deal with together tonight.
Wow.
So there we are.
What's next?
Next one.
Pretty good, but the talk of alternate realities and such is new age deception. This one's not like I respectfully suggest. This is like going.
But they said pretty good.
Pretty good.
They're like
the movie's good, but you're leading us into new age deception. I don't know new age people that.
So.
Is this common?
It is, because I see this so much.
Who
where people
is
are
connected?
Shift and new age deception. And I'm going to be really, really frank and honest with you. I have no idea what that means.
What does that mean?
I don't know what this new age thing that feels like something that maybe there's a region of the country where people are very concerned with people in togas who are chanting and doing mantras. I don't know what it is. It's not a term that comes up in my daily life or that the people around me use. So this idea that we're executing a new age deception, if I don't know what it is, I definitely cannot do it.
I found an article on it. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah. But the other thing I want to key in on is this word deception. We are not trying to deceive anybody. There's no trick here. We are using the tools that are available in storytelling and have been available in storytelling since stories first began, which is metaphor and allegory and even genre. Like are we strictly adhering to the Bible? No, we're not, because we're not telling a biblical story. It's set in modern times. It's a sci-fi story. We are inspired by the book of Job, but we go off on our own path.
Correct.
That's just telling stories. And it's something that we could stand to get back to a little bit more within the faith. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later.
And I might be stepping on toes because I don't know. But you're also not trying to like start a new church or
No, we're not a ministry.
or be a ministry or claim
Right.
to have some corner market on the truth that you're now sharing with people. Which I think, just based on the cursory look that I did, that's what New Age deception is. It's
Got it.
pulling people away from the church for different perspectives. This is not to replace your worship. This is to entertain you.
Yeah. Well, to entertain you and to
Look at
give
the
you,
voice of reason.
and to give you something to think about.
Correct.
Yeah, to give you something to
Because
think about.
good stories should make you think, and good stories that uplift should
Mhm.
draw you closer to your creator. You should never go to the movies or watch TV in replace of church.
Absolutely not. No. And look, even
That's
Dallas.
solid advice for you right there.
Even Dallas says that openly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's like, don't use this as a replacement for scripture. You know, and
Yeah.
that's based
And that is
very-
like that's the script of scripture.
very, very close to
Yeah.
the scriptures. And he's telling you, look, don't do that. Go read your Bible.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
something totally different.
Yeah.
And certainly if that is, then the shift is even more.
Yes.
All right, next one.
All right, what else we got? What? Don't pray like the Pharisees. Pray in your bed closet.
All right.
Is this because Kevin prayed in the diner?
You got there.
No way.
You got there.
Because he prayed in public?
Because he prayed in public.
What?
We are perpetrating an evil
What?
that is anti-scriptural. So in the scriptures, we have this quote, which this person quoted, that basically it's, the idea being that we shouldn't pray to be seen by in secret.
Wow.
Look, I get that. I definitely believe in that. I don't believe in being demonstrative, and I don't need
Okay,
people to see me praying.
No, I'm taking this.
Okay,
one.
go ahead.
I'm
Go
taking
ahead.
this one. That particular scripture does not say that you should not pray. It is talking specifically because the Pharisees prayed for attention
Well, that's what I was getting to.
and for glory
Yeah.
and for everyone to look at them and think they were so spiritual. And if you've watched the short film, you know that Kevin is not praying so that the diners around him can be impressed with him or marvel at his spirituality. He is praying a true and honest prayer from the depths of his battered soul.
Right.
We pray out loud in public all the time. All the time.
Sure. No, but
Jesus
look,
also prayed publicly. For some reason, this one made me mad.
yeah, Andrea, thank you. No. But see, we're not being defensive.
I know, but
Okay, that's not true tonight.
this one made me mad. I didn't see these ahead of time. I don't know if you can tell that, but
Well, look, people, especially on the internet, I think people's first reaction is always to react.
sure.
We react very quickly and we move on to something else. Nancy says the Bible says pray without ceasing. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. But only in your bed closet.
Kevin's prayer is not one in which he is trying to get everybody to look at him. Kevin's prayer is one of desperation. Kevin's prayer is something that is spontaneous and happening in the moment. It is not a calculated act in which to, enlarge himself in the eyes of those around him.
Yeah.
He is praying in public in the diner because that's where he is, and he doesn't see any way out of there.
It's true.
So it's a very
Although
different
they've
context.
been shifted there. So, I mean, we could get into a
That's
metaphysical
not actually true.
conversation. I know, but I'm just saying, like, we don't totally know where the diner is.
I do.
Well, I don't. So, I mean, we could argue public.
Have you read the script, Aaron?
We could argue the public.
She has not.
We could argue the public rhetorical space all you'd like.
Anyway.
I wrote a paper on it.
So it's a fair question.
It's fair.
It's a fair question. That's our perspective on it. All right.
Yes.
Let's see another one.
Okay. All right. This film has a good message.
Hey, that's positive. Let's stop.
Yay! This is in the wrong category. But I was disappointed with the cursing in it. I'm just trying to think through the short film. The point of the movie that points towards God is to be able to focus on him, not to have to listen to words that displease our Savior. I would not recommend this movie because of this. Who swears?
There is a what is the moment? All of a sudden I can't. Kevin. Kevin says, "What the hell, man?" When he gets slapped by Satan. Yeah, he says that.
Okay.
So Aaron's reaction is a great example of why I wanted to talk about this one, because this is a frequent comment or some variation on this. You'll notice Aaron's reaction was
What the
basically,
hell's wrong with that comment?
You're making it worse. Don't do that. Aaron's reaction to that is that, I mean, what was going through your head? Let's break this down.
Okay.
That was what they were objecting to? What was going through your head?
Honestly, and this is going to get a little communication nerdy on you. I'm sorry. It's who I am.
Well, you got to explain that.
So I'm a communication instructor. I have a master's degree in communication, and we study and teach what words mean and what they mean to different cultures and when people use them and how they impact blah, blah. So my first thought was, if I had said what the hell growing up, I've been in trouble, that would have been considered a swear word. But I think most of the general public in today's society wouldn't necessarily feel like I was in my head grappling about whether or not that constitutes a swear word.
For you, that is not an obvious swear word.
Correct. And second, I was thinking I don't know that word would necessarily displease God. I think that we shouldn't be speaking for what would displease God or not. And my third comment is that Brock has the like cleanest language of any adult man I know in my entire life. And so the fact that like someone's lobbied against your language is just funny. It's just really funny to me because like Brock's big, like frustrated, like stubs his toe. It's a dang it. Like he's so like G-rated language that it got stuck in my head.
So everybody has different tolerances. Everything different that they consider to be profane or unacceptable. And honestly, I have, outside of what I just using it earlier as an example of what we're talking about here, I have never actually used the phrase "what the hell" ever in my daily life, as Aaron just pointed out.
Yeah.
Characters in this film speak in ways that I do not.
Sure.
That's called being a writer.
Well, and Kevin isn't in his faith at the moment that he says it.
Correct.
And so for him, it makes sense that would be a phrase he would use because it doesn't have a spiritual connotation to him.
Right.
And I think if you're going to give Kevin language other than, G-rated, you did pretty okay.
But look, I'm sensitive to this because to me, this is a big deal. Like, I don't enjoy profanity. I don't enjoy it in my films that I watch. I'm certainly not going to tolerate it in the films that I make. You're never going to hear anything worse than that in the feature film, even, which I believe will achieve a PG-13, mostly just because of subject matter.
Right.
But it's not going to have gratuitous violence or sex or even language. It's just not going to go there because I don't like that. These, what I would call mild swears, find a little bit.
Categorized them?
I categorize them. I find a little bit more acceptable within the context of a film and to establish character.
Yeah.
That's my understanding and the way that I approach it. It may not be the way that you approach it, but I don't think it's fair for either one of us to say, these are the words that God finds acceptable and not. Yes, in the scriptures, it is talked about how, you shouldn't use profanity or shouldn't profane. I don't remember the exact wording. But
do not let any unclean thing escape your lips.
Unclean thing. But as far as like what is unclean and what is unclean enough to not use, I mean, that's a continually changing cultural standard.
Yes, it is.
That we can't apply to everybody. You can apply it to yourself, but you can't apply it to everybody because you don't really know.
I also think that it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek funny that Kevin says to Satan, "What the hell?"
I mean, there's that.
Like that's funny.
So look, for those. Here's what I'd recommend. I'd recommend going to vidangel.com and watching the film there, which you can. You can actually watch the film on VidAngel and you can get rid of that word. I highly encourage you to do so.
I feel like they should be sponsoring this.
They should be. Almost.
I love it.
But VidAngel all the time for movies that I watch.
We do. Because
I used it just today.
You get to decide what your standard is.
Absolutely.
And what your threshold is.
And none of us should let anything into our home that we don't want. And so, but look, art is going to be the purview of the creators, and that should also be a thing. Artists should be able to create what they want to create. As far as what we enjoy in our own home, we should also be able to determine that.
And then you filter it.
So I recommend that when The Shift comes out, please watch it, check it out, and filter it all you want.
Yeah.
And make it the version that you want to see. I have zero problem with that.
And this will be the last one, but what the hell's the next question?
You're just stirring the pot.
Okay.
That's all you're doing.
Okay, so this one I did see ahead of time, and I'm so sorry because I laughed so hard.
Yeah, now you missed out on that.
Maybe
reaction.
they're annoyed with my laughter. Maybe they're glad. This is my favorite comment. Watching the production of a Walmart bargain bin occupant in real time. Incredible. I would like to know who this is because I would like to shake their hand because that's just funny.
It is.
It's really funny.
And that's really the main reason I wanted to include this, because this genuinely made me laugh too. Two things on this. Be so lucky.
Right?
Do you know what kind of movies are in the Walmart bargain bin?
know.
Like, there's some good stuff in there.
Tom Cruise is in the Walmart bargain bin.
Usually something ends up in the Walmart bargain bin because they've made a whole bunch of them because people wanted to see it. And then, they had some left over. I was going to actually go to Walmart and film myself digging through the book to find out what kind of company the shift could keep.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I ran out of time.
And
But I'm convinced that if I were, there would be some real classics in there.
Yeah.
And we would be numbered among them.
And to whomever this is, like, thank you for your faith that this movie will be and that we will make it.
And
enough.
that will be in Walmart.
Yeah. I mean, this person's my favorite.
Yeah. So this is, you know what? I'm officially taking this out of the category.
And into the manifestation category.
Yes, it is the.
No, this one
It's a
made me
legit
laugh
one.
really hard. I really like this person.
All right.
If
Next.
you're watching, hats off to you.
Hats off.
Writing could use some help. Sorry. That's
Yeah.
so mean and not true.
Yeah.
But it's
so
funny.
so I appreciate the concern. Nothing that has ever been written has pleased everyone.
Including the Bible.
I have heard literally every comment about my writing that you can imagine.
It's true.
I have heard people saying that this is one of the best scripts they've ever read. I've had people say this could really use a lot of work, and I've heard, hey, writing could use some help.
Writing could use some help.
Here's what I do want to tell you, for those of you especially that are considering investing, and just as a reminder, the goal tonight is to reach $1 million in investment.
So
We're
Brock
so
and Dan.
close. We're so close. In fact, let's see, where are we right now? How are we doing? Are we stuck at 999?
We are
stuck at 993. Oh man.
Maybe they don't want to see you dance.
It went up.
Ah!
995. All right, so we're
That's
less.
less than $4,000. I
No,
can do
it's
that
less
math.
than 5,000. It's more than 4,000.
I was so excited.
You were so excited.
I was.
All right, so we're getting closer. So,
My math could use some help.
so anybody who's come in the last little bit, we thank you.
Yes.
And that is 5,000 more. Oh man, it'd be so great to get to 1 million. So please, everybody, share.
It's less than 5,000.
It's less than 5,000. I'm rounding. Share this live stream. Get it out there. Let people know that we're live right now. Let them know what our goal is. There are people right now who are thinking to themselves, oh, I'll definitely invest, but I'll wait until it gets closer to the end.
Yeah, don't do that, please.
Let's get those people in here now.
Like, I know
And
it's
let's get
exciting.
up to 1 million now.
I know it's exciting at the end to watch it stack up, but like, it gives us an ulcer. Like, if
A
you
little bit.
if you could not do that, that'd
A
be
little
great.
But look, for those that are considering investing, here's the thing I want to tell you about the writing. Number one, we did release the script last year, a couple of occasions. And so many people have read it. And there are likely many people in the chat right now who have read the script and can tell you exactly how good or bad the writing is. And in fact, if you have read the script, please, in the chat, will you, have you read the script? What did you think of it?
Yes,
Let
have you?
people know. And then hit that link at angel.com/the shift. See what this film is about. See what's going on. And wife of mediocre writer. Nice. Our live stream team has been given full permission to do what they want, and they are clearly taking advantage of that. But here's the thing I want to say about the writing. Even beyond what was released to the public, I have continued to work on this script. I've continued to receive feedback, both from people who are just, really good at love movies, from people who are industry professionals. Like, this script has been through the ringer, and it will continue. I mean, I'll probably be developing it right until we shoot. I want this film to be as good as it possibly can be, and I'm very happy to report that the iterations that I've been doing in the last year have really strengthened the film. It's very, very tight right now. It's very impactful. I mean, I'm the writer and I'm saying this, but this is also the feedback that I've been getting. Vicky says it is good. I read it. Thank you, Vicky. Appreciate that. Lisa says script is awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa. There is.
I believe that. Dallas liked it.
Dallas, there you go.
That's good endorsement, Roper. I'll take it.
There's lots of reasons to be confident that we are not completely going astray on the writing. Could the writing use some help? The answer to that is yes, it could always use help. There's no writer who creates a perfect artifact, and I will continue to seek and receive help as we get closer and closer to shooting.
Yes.
All right, next
that was
one.
Fun. Okay, what's next?
It's so much more fun when you read it for the first time live.
If Jesus wanted these movies made, he wouldn't need to sit money from people in order to profit off Jesus, which is pretty low. He would make funding happen. Stop using people's faith for profits.
Do you have something to say?
Nothing productive.
So Jesus making funding happen is probably the thing I really keyed in on here. I do believe that there are works of art that funded throughout the centuries that have been something that got
that
very
Jesus
much
would have rubber stamped.
that he, or that he even did rubber stamp.
Yes.
I mean there are incredible works of art that have enriched people's faith. I mean, I think of things like the Sistine Chapel and The Passion of the Christ was a great movie from 20 years ago that a lot of people enriched their faith. The Chosen also has inspired testimonies the world over. To my knowledge, Jesus did not personally turn out his pockets and hand the money over to those filmmakers or to Michael Lowe. That's just.
But if he did, I'd like to hear about that. You should make a movie about that.
So the question.
And then we could get the crowd to fund the movie.
No, then the crowd will
maybe of Jesus giving out money. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for that.
The writing could use some help.
Not that kind of help. The question becomes is if Christ wants something, a work of art, and I'm saying a work of art because movies are only one piece of art.
Sure.
How would he inspire it to be funded? I think that's the real question here.
Well, and so often, I mean, think about how Jesus does anything. He uses people in our lives to help accomplish his work and his goals.
Mm-hmm.
The end. And so we think he's using the crowd to help establish something that he wants. But if you don't have to invest.
No, you don't.
Good.
You don't at all. And as far as the second part here, that we're using people's faith for profits, I definitely take a strong objection to that. That is not the intent here. I believe that art is important. Mm-hmm. When you think about what we know about the history of the world and how we define ourselves as a species, it is usually through art. It's not so much through other things. It's art is where we get our history. So art is very, very important. And it also, it's what we spend a good portion of our day enjoying. If you sit down and watch a television show or a movie, or you enjoy a book or a painting, you're enjoying art. Mm-hmm. So art is something without which I think our lives and our existences would be very poor.
Well, and other than the existential claim for art, let's be very clear too. I'm going to do it. This is a good time to say no one is taking anyone's money. We're offering you the opportunity to invest and make more money.
Yeah, we're actually offering profits for you. That's
Correct.
The point of an investment. So this is not donations. So that's the other part of this. Is that if you just want to break this down to a pure dollars and cents thing, we're actually trying to benefit you by allowing you to come in and be a part of this. It's not about benefiting.
Yeah, it's about having art that we all love, that draws us closer to our faith, but also makes everybody.
I want to make a point of clarification here, though, because I can hear a lawyer in my head, which is saying, not literally. I can just imagine it. No, it's not actually. There's no lawyer here. But just to clarify, I just said just a second ago that we don't benefit. That's not true. We will also benefit from profits.
Absolutely.
But one clarification I want to make here is that actually the way that this investment works is that the investors, you guys, make profits before we do.
Yep.
You have to make a profit before I can even start getting anything. And so that's an important distinction to make.
It's very important. And I think it's very important to this question.
But look, there's a much easier way to fund a movie, and that's taking faith out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Faith in this instance does not help us. And in fact, I would say that for me, what's important as an artist, taking money out of it, because that's really not a motivator for me. I want to create art that represents me. I want to create art that puts some good into the world. And to me, I'm a person of faith. It's very, very important to me. And I want to see more great art that represents my faith. Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to for me. That's why we're doing this film.
Yes.
It's not because we're preying on. It's just I take such objection to that.
Yeah. We're not defensive.
I'm not trying to be defensive. I'm really not. But that one kind of hits me a little bit more personally.
Sure.
Because it's using something
that's a little accusatory.
It's a little accusatory, and it's speaking directly to what is not my motivation, which is to take advantage of people. I just want art to be great, and I want it to be represented within it.
And bonus, if everyone makes money in the process, hot dog.
Yeah. Amanda says, I'm guessing this person also hates The Chosen. They did crowdfunding, and they might.
Probably.
Look, The Chosen has its haters.
Wouldn't
for
it
sure.
be wild if some of these people that were reading their stuff are like on this live?
That would be wild.
That would be crazy. Okay, what's next?
All right, what's next?
Hit me with another one. I'll try to get through. Not good with your sales tactics. Not good with your sales tactics. Bash others to lift yourself up is not a good tactic. I would like to say here and now, for the record, that no one in the history of ever has ever accused Brock of being a good salesman.
That's true. I'm not very good. This person is speaking specifically to the video we have that's out there that's talking about, it starts off with most faith-based films fall apart quickly. It's like walking on Legos with your eyes and things like that.
With your eyes.
We also, in that same video, are critical of Hollywood and they put out, movies based on the Bible, but they don't really, stick to it very well.
Get it.
So that whole ad, it definitely pushes some buttons, and it's meant to. It is an ad designed to basically say what all of us are saying and saying it out loud, but we're saying it privately. We're not saying it out loud so much, which is that there's a lot of faith films that need some work, that just need to be better, that should be better.
They need some help with the writing.
Right. They need some help with the writing, or they need some help with their production value, or whatever it is. And I don't think it's a bad thing to say that. And look, and we're saying it in a fun way.
Yeah, it's tongue in cheek.
Like in cheek. We're not trying to beat up on anybody specifically so much. And even the films that we call out specifically, I feel like it's a pretty light touch.
Yeah.
We're not trying to bash others, but I do think that there is a hunger out there for somebody to say, hey, these films could be better.
Yeah.
We could be doing a better job of it. And we've done screenings in churches, and we've had so many people say,
yes, they all say it.
We go and we watch some films because they represent our faith and they represent our values. But the truth is we don't really enjoy them.
Yes.
We just support them out of obligation. I have had that conversation so many times, and that's usually right after we show them The Shift, and then they followed up with, but this is the film that I could take my dad to, who never watches those films.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one of the goals here is let's make a film, which isn't to disparage any other film. Those films have their place. It's not that they don't, and you can enjoy them, and if you do, that's fine. But there's other people who are not enjoying them, but who would like to enjoy a film that represents them in their film.
There are you out there that gobble up those Hallmark Christmas movies. Do it. Do you. That's not everybody's taste level. And so it's okay to have different things. It's okay to have different things.
Absolutely. But look, we're not the only ones who think this. Allison Sulcaster, who recently discovered The Shift and had some similar thoughts. She puts it in a much stronger way than we have. Let's see what Allison has to say.
I found out about The Shift because I was scrolling Instagram, and I came across this promotional video that featured a man who was saying very profound but very hilarious things about how Christian movies leave a little bit to be desired. And every single word out of his mouth made me want to stand up in my chair and pump my fists and laugh out loud, because I too have a beef with Christian movies. This is a generalization for certain, but it is generally true that Christian movies are lame. Christian movies are lame. The plot lines are predictable, and the dialogue is laborious, and the acting is bad. They're often so explicit, only using very certain words to only ever say one very certain thing. And by the time it's all said and done, I don't know about you, but I can either turn off my TV or leave the theater feeling a little manipulated because the resolutions are strong-armed and prescriptive, and I feel like I've been told how to feel. But I can also leave feeling a little frustrated. Because here we are as Christians, having inherited the greatest story ever told, but we're telling it in such a way that it isn't great at all. In fact, it's cheesy and trite. I feel like we are making a big mistake when it comes to expressing our faith by neglecting what is beautiful. We are Christians because it is what is true, and it is what is good, and it is what is beautiful. But when it comes to evangelization, we can sink so deeply into what is true and good that we neglect what is beautiful. And what beauty usually does is it cross lines and allures people or woos people when truth and goodness cannot convince them. And what happened when I followed that promotional video and found the short film, The Shift, and then found the feature-length film, The Script, what I discovered is that the shift is beautiful. And it's beautiful because there are tantalizing plot lines. It's beautiful because there are new and different and intriguing ideas that we may have never thought of before. It's beautiful because there are moments of discomfort that aren't quickly explained away, that don't have a neat and tidy finish, the shiny bow on top. It's beautiful because there's a really strong message of hope that doesn't quickly allow you to dismiss yourself. Sometimes when things are true or good or beautiful, you can look at them and say, that's for everybody else, but not for me. The shift is a story where everyone can see themselves. The shift is also beautiful because it's not just offering some sanitized version of what the secular world is doing. The shift is doing its own thing. The Lord is doing a new thing, and the shift is leading the way. And I am so excited to see how many people this will touch and how many lives it will transform and how it might just change how Christian art is being made. I'm all in.
All right.
She's gonna get hate mail for that.
She's gonna look. It's an honest take.
It is, and it's beautiful. She's so well spoken.
She's very well spoken.
Bravo.
Yeah. No. So I appreciate Allison's words, and she represents one voice. And like Aaron said, if you enjoy the types of movies that you think maybe she's referencing, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's totally
It's just-
okay.
It's time for other types of movies.
It's just an acknowledgement that Christian movies can have lots of different feels to them, in the same way that regular movies have lots of different, not everyone likes an art movie either, and that doesn't make them bad. It just makes them not your taste.
Right. So, all right, next one.
Not good with sales tactics. That's so funny. Okay, faith-based beliefs are nothing but deluded self-deception and wishful thinking. Now we have me on tape saying that. If a person is thought less of because of this, then that's that person's fault. Rejecting reality, reason, and skeptical thought is nothing to be respected for. The myths and fables of ancient books have no place in modern society. The propagation of this divisive, insidious is reprehensible.
Yeah, there's some real $5 words there that I don't know.
What? Yes, you do.
I'm just kidding.
But wow, he just accused of modern faith mongering.
I mean, I can sum this very simply. He's calling me an idiot, and he's calling all of us idiots who have faith, and I get that. Honestly, I do. Like,
no,
if I didn't have, I would think this is all pretty ridiculous. Any faith, if you look at it a certain way, you break down a certain way, is going to sound ridiculous. Faith is not about, having the coolest thought in the world or having like the most, the ideas that the world is going to respect the most. Faith is about what is actually true, and sometimes actually true is not always rational. And so I understand this perspective. I get it. I in some ways I even respect it because I understand kind of where they're coming from. I totally disagree with it. And I think the thing that I disagree with the most here is this idea that rejecting reality, reason, and skeptical thought is nothing to be respected for. This idea that those of us that embrace faith are not intelligent, that we don't think skeptically, that we don't question, that we don't doubt, that we don't
live in reality and reasonably.
The most intelligent people I know, generally speaking, are also staunch in their faith.
I agree.
I mean, genuinely. And I have friends who are atheists. I have friends who are agnostics. I have friends who from all different types of religions. And I have always found the most thoughtful, intelligent, and well-read people to be people with deep, deep faith. And so, but there are certain bubbles in which it doesn't appear that way. There are certain bubbles where people don't come into contact a whole lot with people of faith. And so they wouldn't necessarily have that perception. And I think that this person is one of those people.
Sure.
And so I have a heart for this person. I have a lot of empathy for them because I don't think that they're necessarily meeting the right people or their exposures. They're living in kind of a smaller world in that way, or perhaps they have had interactions with people of faith and they've been largely negative. That can happen as well.
Perhaps Satan wrote this comment.
I'm trying to be charitable toward this person. You just call them the devil. What in the world?
No. I'm saying that is how that sounded. That's not what I meant. I meant like maybe this isn't a person that wrote this. Maybe Satan. Okay.
How is that any better?
I don't know.
So they're either the devil or they're dehumanized.
No, I'm just saying like instead of anyway, you all understand what I'm saying, right? Yes. Hey, not all theists. Some even back the ship, and that's the thing.
That's true.
So I think Karen's point that not all atheists are that annoying. Some even back the ship. Because again, this is not a church. This is not a.
We have many fans who are atheists.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And I've even had some of them just recently are like, should I out myself? Should I tell everybody that I am? And I'm like, go for it. I bet you everybody would embrace you. Like,
absolutely.
You can let us know that you're a fan of the shift and you don't actually believe in God. Like, that's fine.
There are no requirements. There's no card checking at the door. This isn't a church. This isn't a ministry. This is a movie. You're allowed to enjoy it.
And for those of you that are investing, I think that is something to be excited about, that there are people attracted to this film that don't share our faith.
Yes.
Like, that just broadens our audience. And I believe that gives us the potential to really touch and reach people in a different way. I'm getting a notification that's citing news. I don't know what this is. What's going on? We did it! We hit 1 million!
We have to dance.
Okay. I look ridiculous. Yes,
that's so exciting.
This is awesome. This happened live.
Yeah, it did. That's so exciting.
We not only did we hit 1 million, we got over 1 million.
Your reprehensible. I don't know. I didn't get that one. Your insidiousness paid off.
This is amazing. This is really incredible. I'm really happy this happened live. We only do one of these live streams a week. Like, what were the odds that it was actually going to happen right then? This is incredible. Thank you so much, those of you that are listening right now. I'm sorry that we weren't able to flash your names up on screen. I don't know exactly who you are that put us over the top, but thank you. What an incredible, incredible thing. $1 million. And we have 9 days to go. Like, what's going to happen in the next 9 days? I'm thrilled. This is incredible. Are we done? Can we just end the live stream and go party? No, we have a few more.
Oh, okay.
But
there's merchandise to give out.
Yes, but we're getting to that later.
Okay.
We're going to get to that in a minute.
I got so excited.
We got a few. Let's go through these quicker.
We have more? We have more. Okay. Let's do another. More boring than church. You're either lost or at the wrong church, my friend. Sorry. I just read that this film was more boring than church.
Oh, no, that is not what they said.
And that's not what they said.
Do you know
and
what
I
this
went
is from,
somewhere
what
else.
they're referring
More
to?
boring than church. You're either lost or at the wrong church, my friend. No.
So in one of our ads, there's the phrase that talking about how some films are so bad they're more boring than church. And so the objection here is that we describing church as boring in the first place.
Y'all, if you have never been to church and thought it was a smidge boring, I don't know what church you're going to.
Plus, here's the question. Should church be entertaining?
Yeah, I don't know. I
genuinely don't go to church to be entertained. I go to be uplifted. I go to be enriched. I go to learn. But entertainment?
To be humbled?
To be humbled? Entertainment really isn't the goal here. And look, we're acknowledging, and this goes to who we're trying to reach.
Yeah.
We're trying to reach people who do think church is boring.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a good goal.
Sure.
You know, and also, I just don't think it's bad if church is boring. Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, if I can only enjoy church if it's entertaining or if it's not boring, then I think something's gone very wrong. Now, look, I think that it is also true that when you're deep in the spirit and you're having that communication and you're being enriched, it doesn't feel boring at all. But there are many different shades of experience within going to church. And I think just acknowledging that and saying, hey, people think church is boring and we don't want to make a film like that. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Every week is boring, but every now and then.
No, every now and then it is.
A little boring.
And look, if church was super, like, you know, light show.
Super what?
Super light show. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know where that came from.
Brock danced once and now he's all arms.
But, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just, number one, I don't think it's such a bad thing to say that church is boring, because the church's goal is not to be entertaining. At least it shouldn't be. And number two, some people do think that.
Yes.
Some people do think that. And if you do think that, then you know what we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on.
What's next? If you think The Chosen is Bible-based, I'll pass. What is it based on? It's not based on the Bible.
So we definitely tout our connections to The Chosen. Dallas Jenkins is an executive producer on this film. Justen Overlander was an associate producer on The Chosen. He is now a co-producer on this. Beverly Holloway was the casting director on The Chosen. She now is our casting director.
Yeah, we got chosen people. We get back to this.
No, but it's important to recognize like where this is coming from.
Okay.
We also have several actors from The Chosen. Liz Tabish, Paras Patel and Jordan Walker Ross are all in this film. And so it is fair to say, if we like The Chosen and we think The Chosen is good, then what does that mean for The Shift? That's what this person is asking.
But no, this person is saying if you think The Chosen is Bible-based.
Right. So they don't think The Chosen is good. They think it's a force. They don't think it's Bible-based.
That's different than good. You can think something's good and not based on the Bible.
I know the greater context of this because I see variations of it many, many times. And there are people who believe that because The Chosen tells stories and characterizes people in a way that isn't strictly in the Bible, because that would actually be impossible because the Bible was not a screenplay. They believe that because The Chosen fills in blanks, that it now is suddenly not
New Age
Bible-based.
deception?
Yeah, New Age deception or something like that. The Chosen, of course, goes to great lengths to never contradict the Bible.
Right.
But because it is telling a story about people, and we almost know almost nothing about these people based on the Gospels, The Chosen necessarily has to fill in some details using mostly historical records.
Here's the thing. I don't think we need to defend The Chosen. I think The Chosen's doing just fine.
No, we don't need to defend The Chosen. But yes, we do believe that The Chosen is Bible-based. And if that means you don't like this film, then I totally, totally accept that. That is your right. And please.
So we should have a graphic like Chosen Bible-based, Shifting not Bible-based. Both good.
Yeah, both good. Both good. All right, moving on.
Okay. I can't do this one.
Fail. Mock. You are evil.
Why is there not an exclamation point after evil?
I can be a total a-hole, but I'm a better redneck than you. And to this one, this is the only comment that I'm going to say this. You're right. Well, not about the evil thing. But you probably are a better redneck than me.
You win.
You win. I don't know where the insult there is exactly.
Why are you competing for redneck status?
I'm not really sure.
Wow.
But, sure. Yeah. You're a better redneck than me. I accept that. Moving on.
Whew. Okay. I watched the 10-minute plus trailer. I like the plus trailer for The Shift, and the acting didn't seem that great. Well, that's rude.
You're in it.
Seriously, rude. I like the idea that it didn't live up to the standards this video described. It's just rude.
It's just rude. So for those of you that don't know, Aaron plays Molly in the short film. Yeah, this person didn't think the acting was great. And it's funny because I think it's about 50-50 the comments on the acting.
People are funny.
We have people who say the acting is so fantastic. It's a cut above. Don't replace the actors in the short film. And we get people who just say this is the worst acting I've ever seen.
And you know what's funny is both people will say it to my face because they don't realize I'm in it.
Right. Which is hilarious.
It's always super awkward.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, we've all got our opinions on the acting in the short film. I would say the thing about the idea that it doesn't live up to the standards that we're talking about trying to get it to, make the shift into something that is really competitive in the marketplace. I would say, let's put it all in perspective.
Yeah.
The short film was made for $500 with a lot of, I believe, good actors who mostly came from a haunted house the month before.
Or from the back bedroom.
Or from the back bedroom. And
got paid $0.
And we're about to make a multi-million-dollar film with actors from The Chosen, with Jorge Garcia, who played Hurley on Lost, with Rose Reed from Finding You, we just announced Jordan Alexandra, a British actress who was in Boiling Point and also Doctor Strange. Look, whatever you think of the acting in the short film, I think it's fair to say this, and I don't mean this as an insult. I do believe that the acting in the feature film is going to be a cut above what we've already shown you.
I should hope so.
Right?
If not,
I don't want to hurt you, but I do believe that Liz is a better actor than you.
If Liz isn't a better actor than me, then I have some money that I need to be collecting.
Right.
For both the short film and the video, which I was also in.
So Liz, if you're watching, I just put my marriage on the line.
That's right.
For your sake.
The gauntlet's been thrown,
but I had
Liz.
to say the truth.
You must be better. It's not going to be hard. He'll put you in focus, so you'll be fine.
Someone's still got some resentment.
Okay, do we have any more?
We have one more.
We have one more. Okay. One more. Oh my.
Let's make this one bigger. There
Okay,
we
thank
go.
you, because my eyes are not that young anymore. Knowing exactly how both studios and churches operate, did you shop around your film and not one studio was interested? Sorry. Why can't this studio that signed on do their job and with finding executive producers with the millions of dollars nonprofit religious organizations have? There's no way you have any money for your project. Are you actually asking for tithe to make your for-profit film by using the buzzword crowdfunding? Wow. Okay. I love that they've like created a situation, accused you of the situation, and then judged you for the situation.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's a sin, right? Clearly, your full-length film isn't profitable or good, or else.
Or good.
Or good.
There's a
Okay.
typo.
Or else a network streaming service studio would be interested. Maybe you should mention that in your sinfully manipulative ad. Sorry. In fact, I'm so upset about this, I'm going to write about it because that's my job, or even review your short film. I'm pretty damn sure most epic films of the 60s are Christian and are considered timeless works of art. And guess what? The evil satanic Hollywood made them. Wow. I'll let you know when my piece is published. I am waited with bated breath.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, and
Genuinely.
before you ask, I've studied Christianity extensively at my Christian university. There is so much there.
There's a lot to unpack there, and we're not. That's a whole other live stream to unpack this whole
Wow.
thing.
Can
but
you imagine if you used tithe money? People
that
would
would be-
lose their minds.
That would be horrible. The only thing there's a lot here. The only thing I really want to dig into on this is this idea that we are trying two ideas: that we would have access to nonprofit funds somehow to make our film. I guess we get that from churches. I think that's what she's proposing here.
I guess. Oh, she.
Okay, I know it's a she because I'm the one who did the scratching out. But look, that's definitely not how nonprofits work. I think they'd get into giant trouble if they funneled money into our movie. So let's just excuse that for a minute.
As would we.
But this idea that we're trying to make a for-profit by using the buzzword crowdfunding. And this is actually something that even with all of the different language and advertisements, they still miss. There's no donation happening.
Correct.
Here. This is investment. This isn't you putting money into this thing so that we can make a profit. This is putting money into this thing so that you can make a profit, and then we make a profit.
Because
we also very, very different.
We also like to eat food.
True.
And stay in a house with
But we only eat after you eat.
That's correct.
That's the way this works.
Because we're polite like that.
So look, I get it. I get that crowdfunding and Kickstarters and all of this is very common, and people hear that and then they immediately just think that that's what we're doing. But it's not. It's not at all. This is investment. And so, again, with this person, like, they obviously are very passionate. I'm actually, like, this is like the one person that I'm like, man, can we get them to come onto a live stream and talk to us? Because I think we'd have a very interesting conversation.
They would get hate mail too because they used a curse word.
They did. But so look, this is a film that is not a charity. It's not a ministry. We're not associated or affiliated or sponsored by any church.
We
whatsoever.
pay taxes.
We pay taxes. Are we concerned about making a profit? Yes, primarily because we want all of you who are investing, who just got us over $1 million tonight. We want all of you to reap some rewards from this.
Yes.
And isn't it great that this movie can have multiple purposes like that? Not only can we enrich, literally, people, if the film makes a profit, of course, all this is contingent upon success. But not only can we enrich the people who are putting their belief, their faith, their support, their monetary value into this, but we can also make a film that can reach people, that can be entertaining, that can be exciting, that can be a good time, and that can actually get people to think a little bit deeper.
And I think one thing too, to this person's comment, we're not doing it this way because we can't do it any other way.
That's a good thing.
We're doing it because it gives you the opportunity to have ownership in the media you consume.
Right.
And that's exciting for all of us. This is an exciting opportunity to know the people that want to consume this content and to connect with you and to chat with you and to make money with you rather than you just forking over a ticket to another studio that doesn't really care about who you are.
Most of the movies that you see are the result of less than a half dozen people signing off on it. and saying, here's the money, go make it. This is a film that, as of tonight, is got about 5,000 people who have signed off on it. That's we're at over 5,000. Look at this. So it keeps going up. $1,002,408 with almost 2,000 people. We got to lean in to see it because it's smaller on our screen. And we've had about 3,000 investors previously. So this is a movie that's being greenlit by you. That's being greenlit by less than a half dozen people. To me, that's more powerful. I mean, that's what Angel Studios is all about. It's about saying, hey, Hollywood has been controlling what we see for so long, and it's gotten to the point where they're putting out a lot of stuff that we don't actually want to see. The people that want to see this stuff are the people who are living in places that they don't really identify with a lot of us. They don't really understand what it is that we want to actually watch and enjoy. Angel Studios says, well, then the solution to that is just to put the power into the hands of the people and let the people decide what they want to see. And what the people are saying is they want to see The Shift. Now, obviously, some people tonight are saying they don't want to see The Shift, and that's fine. You can't make something that pleases everybody. But this is a film that has a lot of support. That's better than 6 people in a suit,
much better.
In Beverly Hills over a martini saying, your picture's a go.
Wow.
I went.
It was
full
quite an imagery.
there.
No, Brock always loves to say in our house, like, not everybody loved Jesus, so why do you think everyone's going to like you?
Right.
Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see that so many of you have connected with it.
Which just means that when this movie finally appears into a theater, guess what happens?
Where's it going to be?
Into cinemas. Guess what happens? Now there's this giant audience that's ready to see it. I mean, how exciting is that? Most movies you don't even find out about until 3 weeks before they release.
Yep.
This movie, I've had people telling me now, like, why hasn't this movie come out already?
Yeah.
That's great that you think that. It's great that you think we've been around for a while. That just means that we're building and building and building our audience.
We're busy sinfully crowdfunding.
We're busy sinfully crowdfunding. No, we're busy putting this movie together. And so that's the end of our comments. As a final capper to it,
they were good.
They were great.
Hats off to all
really
you naysayers out there.
And I think for the most part, people were coming at us in a genuine way. Like they were genuinely like expressing themselves, and I appreciate that. I think criticism is always good to take in. This movie is happening. This movie is going before cameras in January. In fact, I just got a message from our casting director earlier today. She's like, hey, next week we need to start like casting more roles and getting this going. And now is the time. We're close enough. It's exciting. Every single day is like that. Every single day I've got a new person on my team saying, okay, Brock, it's time to start doing this. It's time to start doing that. Things are moving very quickly forward, which is what makes this crowdfund so exciting, because it is a chance for you to get in on a film right before it's made. I mean, how cool is that? That never happens. That
if you
never
want to be on the decisive sinful train, now's the time to get on.
But go to angel.com/theshift. You can check it all out there. We got all kinds of videos and things to see there. If you have any questions, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you can ask questions and I will answer them personally. Anything you want. We're over time, but we did promise that we'd give people the chance to ask questions. So Garrett, let's just toss 3 or 4 questions up here and let's just go through them as quick as we can, because I don't want to neglect those that have been watching and being patient this whole time. And don't forget, we're about to preview next week's live stream.
And I'm giving away something to someone.
And we're going to also choose our winner here in a minute. So let's see what our first question is.
Aaron, are you going to try to give away the Lancer? Suzanne, I will always be trying to give away.
You got to tell the story for those that have no idea.
For those of you that don't know, the Lancer from the test footage lives in my house now, and it's horrifying and it scares me, and our dog cries when it looks at it. And I would love for one of you lucky people to have this piece of movie magic history instead of me. So I'm coming up with my own stretch goals. We'll chat.
And I will never let it go. So none of that applies to any of you.
No, it does. I'll call you.
So, all right, next question.
When will the remainder of the cast be determined and revealed?
You got to shout out the name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thomas B. When will the remainder
of the cast? Okay, that's a great question, Thomas, and I wish I had an answer. So up until about an hour ago, I thought we were going to make a cast announcement tonight. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but that's how close we are to confirming this cast member. I think it's very, very fair to say that next week we'll announce 1,
It'll be more than one.
I think it'll be 2. I think we're going to be announcing 2 cast members next week. The cast is being assembled as we're going. We're going to continue to make announcements even after this crowdfund is completed next week.
I can promise you that by January, the entire cast will be both determined and revealed.
Yes, that is true.
You heard it here first.
It's a trickle of information, and genuinely, we are telling you as soon as we know someone is confirmed. We tell you guys immediately. So next week, I would anticipate 1. I think good chance 2 cast announcements next week. Let's all cross our fingers, our arms, our toes.
What was the best part of producing this film?
Well, this sounds like a question to ask after we've made the film.
I know. To be determined.
To be determined. I'll answer the question I think they're asking, which is what is the best part
Christina
so far?
Hogg. You didn't say her name.
Well, no, that was your job.
I'm sorry. Christina Stark-Hogg. Your baby's beautiful. So sweet.
The best producing this film so far, oh man, I'll tell you.
Working with me.
Working with you, absolutely. No, it's funny because as soon as you ask, I see that question, my thought immediately goes to how difficult this is.
Yeah.
How hard this is. And actually, that's not inappropriate because I think within that is the answer to your question. The best part about producing this film, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to say this without getting teary.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm not going to. The best part of making this film is when we see the good things happen that overcome the difficulties, when we see what I believe is the blessing of God come in and make this film happen, miracle moments, things like that. That's what the best part of this is, because there is no world in which, well, there's one world, and it's this one, in which this film is made. It's just, the odds are so stacked against us in so many ways for this film ever even existing, going all the way back to creating the short film and never even planning on making a feature film. Like that was not in the view. This film is, someday the story will be written on the making of this film, and it's going to be one miracle after another, to where you're just going to look at it and say, how in the world did this even come to be? This should have never happened.
And for me, I think the best part is watching all of you like engage with it, catch the vision, care, spend your time, show up and watch these. Like that's just so humbling and cool.
It means so much. And I can tell you that one of the biggest weights that I carry on my shoulders is the responsibility that I have towards every single dollar. Because every single dollar we have right now is a sacrifice that one of you made. And I take that so seriously. I have a hard time spending money as it is. I especially have a hard time spending your money in order to make this film. But that's the charge that you've given me. And it's something that is not small. And it is not something that I wear lightly. And I would say that's my second favorite thing, is that you trust me and that we get to do this together. But it is also the thing that is heavy. I don't want to lie about
You didn't do that fast.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not fast now.
That's okay. One more question.
All right, one more question, then we're going to wrap this up. We're going to preview. And we're going to announce our winner.
Aaron, Elaine, thank you. We'll just chat, just the two of us. Small investments. The threshold for investing is $102. So $102 is as small as it can be, but it can be $102.10. That's
actually it can't. It
just kidding.
Increments of $3.
Just kidding. $102 or $105. I can do some math. But if $102 is too weighty and hefty for you, and there are definitely in our life where that would have not even been a discussion we could have had, there are other ways to support the project. You can share on your social media. You can invite others to come and watch. You can hit the like buttons. You can participate in these lives. There are lots of ways to engage. At some point, there will be more merchandising for sale that is on a smaller price point. And so there are lots of ways to engage with this shift film, even if that $102 threshold is not in your budget right now.
Yep. So well said.
Thank you.
So yeah, we invite small investments. Absolutely.
And speaking of merchandising,
let's talk about next week.
No, it's time to give a winner.
Oh, we're going to talk about, okay, sorry. I got ahead of myself.
I
Go ahead.
want to give something
Yes,
away.
Aaron.
What are we giving them? What do they get?
They're going to get their selection of the merch that we currently have on hand.
Which is what?
Which is like, I believe, shirts and hoodies right now. Is
Okay.
about all we have left.
And I have both, and they're lovely. The hoodie's like the perfect weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Okay, so how do we do this? Do I
Garrett
in my ear? Who's the winner?
Oh,
Elaine.
we have one more question. Oh, that's our winner.
Elaine's our
Oh,
winner.
yay.
Yay! Elaine, I'm
Congrats,
so
Elaine.
excited for you. And Elaine, wearing your merchandise where people can see and answering questions is a great way to be a Shift ambassador.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It sparks conversation. All right, let's wrap this up with a preview of next week's live stream. So next week is going to be on October 18th. That is the night before the end of this entire investment round. This is going to be a celebration. And here's what's happening. Look at this lineup.
Well, all these people are going to be there?
All of these people
Really?
are going to be featured on next week's live stream. They're all coming to visit us.
That's so exciting.
We're going to have actors. We're going to have producers. We're going to have I got to name them off. We're going to have, going right from the top, Vivian Idukaitis, who is a graphic designer and works at Angel Studios. She is working behind the scenes on merch. And in fact, this is another, I've never said this before, we are debuting brand new merch next week. And Vivian's going to tell us all about it. It's going to be available on our resurrected merch shop. So all that's coming next week.
And you're going to love
well.
her because she's just the coolest.
She's great, and she's going to show off her new designs. She's also got some other designy surprises for us.
Ooh.
You're gonna want to see this. I know you guys don't know Vivian yet, but you're gonna get to know her next week. Jordan Alexandra, who we just cast as Priya. You have not met her yet. Jordan is going to be joining us as well.
Ken Carpenter.
Ken Carpenter, our producer. Jordan Harmon, the president of Angel Studios, will be joining us. Dan Hasseltine, lead singer and songwriter for Jars of Clay, and one of our composers, joining us next week.
You'll be here.
I will be there for some reason. Beverly Holloway, our casting director, will be joining us. Matthew S. Nelson, our other composer, will also be joining us. Justen Overlander, our co-producer and my co-host, will be back with us. Rose Reed, incredible actress who plays Tina, will be joining us. Liz Tabish, who plays Molly, and Jordan Walker Ross, will be playing Brendan. All of them joining us next week for our massive, biggest live stream ever.
This is like the Brady Bunch, only better.
Exactly. And look, maybe we'll even have more. Maybe these other actors we're going to announce, maybe they'll come. I don't know. If they do, I'm going to have to really change this graphic because there's no room for anybody else, but I'll figure it out.
Loaves and fishes that graphic. We'll make room.
Next week is going to be thrilling. For those of you that have never joined us on one of these last night live streams, it is incredible what happens as people, in that last minute rush, they get in there and like, oh my gosh, I got to get in there, and that's fun. But then to have all of these people on top of that, plus a merch announcement, you're not going to want to miss this one. And this is the one, by the way, that you're really going to want to share with your friends. If you are a supporter, either monetarily or otherwise, of the Shift, please tell people about next week's live stream. Share it. Let's get as many people together as possible because this is going to be, I believe, the last opportunity. Legally, I don't know, but I do believe it will be the last opportunity for anybody to invest in the Shift. And with talent like that
There's something
behind it, I think it's a pretty good thing to do.
Yes.
I think we are done for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Aaron, for doing this with me. That was much more fun with you. I've done this by myself, and it is not very fun.
He didn't mean more than with you, Justen. He just meant alone.
Well, we don't need to talk about that. No. I love you both, but I probably love you more than Justen.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
So
That's fair.
I don't think that's wrong. So thank you, everyone. Next week, we'll see you again, same time, 5 p.m. on Tuesday, Pacific anyway. Do the math for your own time zone. Everybody have a great night. And $1 million. $1 million. We did it. We did it tonight. Let's see what happens for the rest of the week. Bye.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money. But I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where the Shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So The Shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is help them maximize the budget that they do have and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get, enough to make something special. And I think the message of The Shift and the future of The Shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side, I've seen it on the directing side. And in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more. And I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
Nothing. Nothing. I am greater than God.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
And that's what The Shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. Click the link to invest in The Shift today.